Hello, and welcome to the JSR Hungarian Grand Prix here in 2025. We are coming to you for the famed Hungarian circuit just outside Budapest, where drivers are preparing to tackle a 50% race distance around one of the trickiest tracks on the calendar. In just a short while, a single 80-minute qualifying session will set the grid, which is right now with 16 drivers, and the shootout will be absolutely crucial tonight because overtaking here is anything but easy. The Hungaroring is a 4.3 kilometer 14-turn roller coaster of circuit known for its tight technical layout and minimal straight line running too. It's often referred to Monaco without the walls. You get all the slow twisty corners and the intense focus of street circuit just without the barriers inches away, just like the Monaco Grand Prix. With continuous bends and only one real straight, there is very little respite for the drivers here. High summer temperatures and abrasive track surface only add to the challenger too, because tire temperatures will skyrocket through the roof and degradation is a traditional event around here as well in this venue, meaning strategy and smooth driving will be vital over the race stint. Key corners will be on everyone's mind. Turn 1 at the end of the pit straight is the prime and sometimes only overtaking spots as well on this track, and heavy braking zone right hander where we expect plenty of action on the opening laps of the Grand Prix. So let's see then what happens in this 80-minute qualifying session. And good evening to you all. My name is Joe Morris and I'll be taking you through this event. 80 minutes of qualifying and a 35-lap race. And last time out we were at Monaco with Wars. Last time on the streets of Monte Carlo it was Milan Langer who stood tall once again, delivering a composed drive from pole to take his third win of the season as well, and stretched his lead at the top of the 96 points. That is an absolute standing mega result for him as well. He's the benchmark right now, cool under pressure and clinical when it counts as well, and very consistent because he picked up no penalties at the Monaco Grand Prix, as Kevin Zumberg, I think, was just ahead of him at the time. But unfortunately, the Dutchman of Kevin is not here tonight here. Long hit is on a flying lap as we see the Haas headed down in towards the heavy braking zone on the calendar, in towards turn 1 there. Be very nice and smooth on traction. Use the bit on the outside curve too for good measure as we head down in towards turn 2 then. This can be a very tricky corner as well. You want to get the power at the right time. So you can definitely tell he's running traction there because it is a bit sluggish on the exit too. Nothing bad about it. But of course, I think goes out wide the exit at turn 4. And unfortunately, he has invalidated. No traction is much quicker because obviously is the power as well is not as sluggish and it doesn't take a bit of a delay. So unfortunately, he has invalidated. Here is the man that has been super quick around JSR, as he is called Finn Hertz. Here he is headed down in towards that chicane. He rides over the curb, a bit of oversteer, and now he makes his way towards the twisty part of this racetrack, constantly changing direction as well, as carrying the speed all the way through, coming in towards turn number 11, I believe it is, as he goes flat out there. Remember, Sergio Perez crashed back in 2013. He also crashed at the exit in 2015 when he rolled over too, as Perez recently crashed in 2024, and he crashed on the straight, and he also crashed in towards turn 1 in 2015 and 2014 in the wall on the final corner where Sebastian Vettel pivoted around but saved the car. As Europe goes up to first place with a 16.4, but Finn Hertz immediately replaces him on the hardcore power tyres as well, as Robbie Jacobs goes towards the top of the pecking order with a 15.469, as Torpe goes 5th, Hatikas goes up into P2. Now, Torpe did not do a two-stop strategy around Monaco Grand Prix, which is mandatory against the rules, it says, so I wonder if the consequences were weighed upon him last time out at the Monaco Grand Prix. Stefan goes up into P3. Both Ferrari drivers this season have had a taste of the podium, as Leroy in the Racing Bull, the Dutchman, goes toward the top of the timing sheets with a 15.304. So can anybody get themselves in the 14s? I dare say yes, but it could be very tricky as well, trying to nail every single apex, nail the braking zones, master traction on the exit as well, get the run you need out of the corners to power your way past, as Sasha Hood goes up into P6 in the Ferrari. I believe both Ferraris had a decent result too, as Parasim does get himself inside the 40s. Now, he's also a driver who's got my key interest because he's very quick, but we haven't seen a lot of him, have we, this season? He has struggled in recent races. He does have the pace, but something just happens of the course of the Grand Prix. Finished P10 back in Monaco. If actually DNF'd in Monaco as well, but we can exclude that because it is Monaco, of course, everybody's favourite track, and it is such a difficult track indeed. The 7-time champion is back. His name is Ben Jogi, the old wise goat here in JSR. Him and Milan Langer run the league as well, as those two are very close friends. There is the championship leader making his way down in towards turn 1, his first flying lap as we head down in towards the heavy breaker. So flicking the car in towards turn 1, kissing the apex, back on the throttle, using power as well, a bit of battery as well at the exit of turn 1, headed down in towards turn 2. Just been very nice and smooth as well, trying to take a little bit wider angle. You don't really kiss the apex going down towards turn 2, ride the curve towards turn 3, lean on the curve on the outside as well as we head towards the blind crest of turn 4. You can't see the apex in real life because it is blind and uphill. Coming in towards turn 4 then, it can be very difficult. It's very easy to pick up understeer through that particular part of the track. You look at him mounting off the curbs as we now thread the needle literally in the chicane. He literally bounced over the curbs, and that was well maximised as well, well utilised, but he's messed up in this particular part of this session then. Been a bit greedy on the entry there, and it's cost him as well, and he is validated his lap time as well. Still got plenty of laps left for Milan Langer because it is a relatively short circuit as well, so every single driver will get plenty of laps on the board around here at the Hungary ring as well. We're headed towards Belgium this weekend because usually on the normal calendar it is Belgium, then it is Hungary, then it is Belgium afterwards, but for some reason, I'm not quite sure why, they have decided to swap those two around. You can see that T-Jas there oversteering as well. He touched the curb on the entry towards turn number 5 there. Not something you ideally ought to do, but he navigates it well with the bit of oversteer encountered in the Red Bull there. As Nick goes up into P9 in the Kicksauber, I think he finished inside the top 10 back at the Monaco Grand Prix as well. He's been looking quite good so far. Eric isn't here tonight, Kevin Zumberg isn't here, and Misha isn't here too, unfortunately, as well. So the competitors that's challenging Milan Langer for the championship, second and third place, are not here, which gives an opportunity for those behind in the championship to catch up and try and beat their result as well. As we see T-Jas coming towards the final corner with the DRS open, he goes up into P10, just inside the top 10 there, but of course we wanted to improve on that lap time as well, as he's outside or just inside the top 10, but the rest of them are in the 15s, whilst Power Seam is the only driver there on the softcore pod tyres in the 14s. But back on board with Finn Hurst, his best lap time is a 15.798. I was about to say 14. As we head down towards turn 1, you can see the car just moving around on the exit as well, snaking away from him. As we head down in towards turn 2 there, taking the curve very nicely on the outside, flicking in, carrying the mid-speed apex, the minimum speed coming towards turn 2, now coming towards turn 3, using the battery as well to power our way up towards the hill, towards the end of the first set, to up by 0.2 of a second here. And for one moment I thought that Finn Hurst was going to run out wide because he took a very wide angle, didn't he, going in towards turn 4. Look at that. He's literally rocketing off the curb there towards turn 6 and turn 7. Now we're coming towards the sweepers in this momentum. We go, then just changing left, right, centre, just being patient as well. Better in the throttle as well as we head down in towards 11 there, flat out to that corner, 0.6 up of a second. But of course, his best lap time is on the hardcore power tyres. We expect a major improvement around here as well on this flying lap. It looks like a very, very solid flying lap around here, but as we head down in towards the final corner, it all could be lost because some people can get too greedy on the throttle as well, as the tyres are so hot. But here comes Finn. Finn goes on pole by under 0.03 of a second there, and he currently takes away Power Seam's professional pole as well. So great lap time from him. No signs of mistakes, although the car was just wandering around on his flying lap, but still pretty solid in my opinion there for Finn Hurst. Very good indeed from the Aston Martin driver, ever so driver too. And I think he's joined a different esports team, so congratulations to him as well. You can see there, Nick just losing the car as well, just skating around at the outside of turn 13 as he makes his way now towards the line. He goes up or stays in P9 as he lost 1/10 of a second as well. So no improvement there. Fireblaze in the Alpine is now making his way towards turn 5. Might counter a bit of Dirty Air as well just ahead of him, so they get out of the way, but there is a Williams next in line. He gets out of the way too. Of course, Dirty Air is very effective in terms of disrupting the car's balance, overheating the engine, affecting the aerodynamics as well, and that's why it's so important to have bridge a gap you don't want to be running too close at all in qualifying, just like last year where people ran very close because the dirty air was not at all effective. But here we go, down in towards the final two corners. This slow speed left-hander which can really upset your lap time as well. But here we are towards the final corner. There is a Ferrari just in front of us, opening lap time as Fireblades makes its way towards the line. The Alpine driver goes up into P4, just behind Leroy there, with a 50.3 and exactly 400s away from the RB in P4, P3 shall I say. Both Alpines, 4th and 6th. Robbie Jacobs is back, and the last time Robbie Jacobs raced, was it at the Imola Grand Prix when he, I think he's caused the safety car, or was it Ryan Benning? I can't remember who it was, but it's definitely one of those two who caused the safety car because he got so frustrated. What's happened to the Mercedes of Europe in P12 there? There he is, just slowing down. Did he spin and break his wing? He broke his head plate, that's for sure. So it trips the pits for him. Will be necessary as Robbie Jacobs there spins out as well. Not quite sure what happened there to him. But on board the power steam, then his first lap time was mighty to get himself inside the 14s. But his closest rival is Finn Hertz, and unfortunately for him, he is down in the middle sector by a few hundredths of a second. Can he make it up though? In the final two corners in this left-hander where the tyres are so hot, so it's very important to brake traction as well, making sure you don't wheel spin out of the exit as we make our way now towards the final corner on this racetrack as he opens up the DRS. Where can the Red Bull driver go or stay? He stays in P2 for the time being then, so he cannot beat Finn Hertz's lap time. Fireblades is back in the pit lane. Here comes Venjoke towards the line. He's down by a few hundred, stays in P5. Stefan right behind or in front of us is going for a flying lap, or just completed one as he's up into P6 for the time being. Where's Khadikas in P8 there? And unfortunately he has invalidated that lap time as Sasha Hood is making his way back in the pit lane. So as you expect around here, invalidations are quite the norm around the circuit as well. It is very common, and it's a common denominator that invalidations will occur around here as well. So it's just very brutal for track limits. This circuit is as well. Champ in 16th place hasn't set a lap time on the board just yet in the Kick Sauber as he heads towards 13. Now coming towards turn 14, apparently Milan has got some technical gremlins there. So in 15th place and at the very back, Champ goes up into P10. Now Milan Langer has been pushed down into P16 there as well. So some technical gremlins going on for our championship leader, and the time is ticking down then, so options are limited, and Milan Langer desperately needs to fix those gremlins to try and get himself back out there and set a competitive lap time. Power Steam has just missed the pit lane there as he reverses back in there, like a Sebastian Vettel type move there as well, when he almost missed the pit lane in 2010 because he had to box, didn't he? I think there was a safety car that came out, then Vettel pitted. Champ in P10 ahead of his teammate Nick. Finn Hertz is out on the circuit. Let's watch him as he now heads towards this tricky part of the racetrack. Rides the curves very nicely indeed. Very smooth on the throttle. Now making his way towards this middle sector there, carrying the speed as well, doing such a great job as well. Finn Hertz placing the car at the right time. It looks like it's on rails so far. Don't want to speed too early, but look at that. 2 and a bit tenths up in this middle sector. This looks an absolute flyer here from Finn Hertz as we head down towards turn 13. Now rides the curve very nicely as well as we head towards the final corner. You can really tell that qualifying at this racetrack, it's all about using every single part of the track you can get away with. Here comes Finn towards the line. Finn goes provisional pole with a 40.527, and wow, what a blazing lap time. Whilst he's in the 14s, the others are in the 15s there and cannot match his pace as well. So he is a force to be reckoned with, as Leroy is down the first sector and he has bad off as well, so Leroy won't be continuing the lap time. But there is 4 minutes left to go of this session then, and so far your pole man is Finn Hertz. To stop Finn Hertz from winning this Grand Prix, I think Plan C, if you know what I mean, around Hungary has to be triggered. So I think Plan C needs to be put in place to try and stop this man. But of course, for those who don't know talk about Plan C, then forget about it, because obviously you need to understand where it comes from. For those who don't know, we've got a few people out there so far on the racetrack, which is Long Hit in P12 and also Robbie Jacobs in P7 as well. as he's currently going for a flying lap. Let's ride on board with him. Of course, he's got out there relatively early in comparison to other people because sometimes by going out early, you mean you got 2 runs. And what I mean by that is, if you validate on your first run, you've always got that second lap time to do so because some people aren't really that good at hooking up a lap straight away. It might take a bit of time, so you might need a second lap just in case. But Robbie is 600 up as he catapults off that corner there as we head in towards turn 5. Takes a very wide entry, cuts back underneath and gets on the throttle. Very nicely done indeed. It's very easy to understeer through there. It's a punishing right-hander as well. It requires a lot of steer and lock. As now we thread the needle in his sensor there, just carrying the speed, hitting the apex very nicely, runs off the track as well for good measure to try and maximise the distance, but or minimise the distance, shall I say, as Robbie Jacobs is 0.2 of a second up, so it could put him into P2 or P3. Well, P3 at best, but we'll see where this lap time ends up. It's all about now keeping it nice and tidy. He's had a bit of scruffy moments as well, it must be said, somewhere on that lap in the sector as he heads towards the final corner. Does Robbie Jacobs, the Belgian driver, heads towards the line with the DRS open. Let's see what lap time is this be. P3, and he did find time despite a little bit of a tentative middle sector there for Robbie Jacobs, but still great effort indeed from the Alpine driver. Unfortunately, there the Haas has it validated, so it chips the pits, or maybe go for another flying lap around here as well, which is not ideal because the tyre wear is so high as well around the circuit. So I wonder how much punishment those soft compound tyres have taken as well. So let's see then, can he improve on this flying lap? We've got a majority of our contenders now. Milan Langer is on the circuit in the McLaren, so only 1 lap time. This lap time has got to be good enough to try and get himself up the order. If it isn't, then he stays in P16. And also, Torpey has invalidated on his flying lap time as well. Unfortunately there for Torpey in the most common place at the exit of turn 4. And got some news as well. Ozzy Osbourne has passed away, unfortunately. So, yeah, sad news there. But we've got a majority of people on the outlets right now. Let's see if anybody's on the flying lap. We've got Mercedes of Europe on the flying lap. Oh, there's traffic in front of us. That is a Red Bull who's just on the racing line. And the Ferrari too. He is a 10th down in this set, unfortunately. Is the Mercedes driver, so he's not on the improvement there, unfortunately. But Palasim is going for a flying lap. Plenty of traffic there in the sector and the last one too. So drivers have got to be careful to navigate their way around the traffic. Drivers got to be paying attention as well to see who behind them is on a flying lap. As we head down towards turn 2, we all know as Verhees has been disqualified. I dare say that could be purposeful because he's not a silly driver to do that unless he has done it. Then it's a costly mistake indeed, and he will start down in 16th place. So Palasim has reinstated first place, like Perez reinstated his lap as well when he got deleted, but he got put back in 2023, I think, because he crashed in 24. The car just went airborne as he collapsed the curb there in towards 6 and 7 we go. Now this middle sector as well. In this middle sector can be so frustrating sometimes because it's all about rhythm, all about flow. And Finn, I did mention as well that you're probably going to do a last to first challenge, but Sieb has lost a few tenths in the middle sector there, so he's lost a bit of time as the Red Bull driver. Can he make it back though? He's got a huge gap from first to second by 0.3 of a second. Hatikas goes up to P5 in the McLaren. Do you notice I've got to prepare every time I say his name? Here comes the Red Bull driver as he rounds the final corner for the final time in qualifying as he makes his way towards the line, and it's Paul with a 14.7. He did improve, but for some reason it didn't pop up. As Fireblaze goes up into P2 there in the Alpine. Robbie Jacobs up into P3 as well. So great performance for Alpine as well. Leroy spins out of turn 11 as he taps the barrier. Gives it a bit of a kiss there for good measure too. Unfortunate there for the Racing Bull driver who spins his way out of qualifying but still keeps going. But time has come to an end. Milan Langer gets ahead of his teammate though by 0.04 of a second. Milan Langer and Hatikas P7 and P8. Where is the 7-time champion? There he is in P9 as he rounds the final corner for the final time here in qualifying. As we see him across the line now, he goes up into P5 as well. So great qualifying there for Vedjoke. Out qualifies Milan, and Palasim is the one that takes pole position by 0.4 of a second. I'll be back with you very shortly. I'm going to go to the toilet. I am back with you for the Hungarian Grand Prix for the 35 laps around here in Hungary. Overtaking is going to be so difficult as well, hence why qualifying is a very important tool as well, as try and get yourself up the order as much as you can to try and make it easy for the race. But strategy would definitely come into play. Is it going to be a two-stop strategy or is it a one-stop? Because drivers got to manage as well. They can't go flat out, they can't push so hard on their tyres in the opening stints. They've got to really manage as well. And can you say Europe will be first? Maybe, depends if he's quick enough and has the right strategy, but we'll see. Anything can happen in this Grand Prix, like we've seen in the past. No formation light, but let's go racing once again. Then here we go, just waiting for the lights. 4, 5 lights. We are underway for the Hungarian Grand Prix. The Haas gets a bit sluggish off the line there, but Robbie Jacobs overtakes his team in Fireblades as they two swap places. We head down towards turn 1 there. The Red Bull and Power Team takes the lead as we head down towards 1. The Ferrari breaks himself, but he keeps the car in control and does not hit the side of the Alpine. The Williams of Edge Oak overtakes Fireblades. Fireblades has dropped a few places, so horrendous start there for him as we see these two go side by side. The Racing Bull Fireblades gets ahead. Back ahead of Edge Oak. Those two go in wheel to wheel in towards turn 2. The Alpine gets squeezed off the track. They continue the battle all the way towards turn 4, but surely one of us wants to bail because Williams goes off the track there as well. You can't really go side by side at that particular part of the racetrack, but so far Power Team leads the Grand Prix. Where is Finn Hertz? He's P12, so good start there for the Aston Martin driver. Made up 3 places as the Haas has to go off the road because there is simply not enough room there as well. As we see Power Team in first place. The gap is 0.8 of a second there as a few people go out wide at the exit there in a little sector, but so far it looks like a clean start. The Sauber goes off the track, which enables Finn Hertz to go up into P11 there. He takes away P11. He's gained a few places to the start of the Grand Prix. Roman Nick is up into 13th place as well. He overtakes Mercedes, but the Mercedes makes contact with him as he outbrakes himself as we head towards the final corners now. The complete to lap 1. We're going into lap 2 out of 35. Power Team has set the fast lap of the race as well as we see his teammates fight away with the Mercedes, but the gap is about 5 tenths per second between Robbie Jacobs and Power Team 2. Fireblades there, a bit of a tentative start. We didn't really see what happened to him, did we? Just dropped back like a stone. So I wonder if he had troubles at the start of the Grand Prix, just dropped backwards. And Sasha Hood and also Ben Joke got past him, and Fireblades has been demoted into P5 as well. So we can see that. Let's see if Fireblades can come back from this. The gap's 1 second between Sasha Hood. So at this stage of the Grand Prix, the top 2 are pulled away. Blistering pace on them both. The Ferrari driver is not able to keep up there and stay within DRS range of first and second place. That's going to be a bit of a painful afternoon if he can't get himself in DRS range, because if he can't, then the top 2 will pull away, and therefore Sasha Hood will be under massive pressure from the likes of Ben Joke, Fireblades and Milan. Look at that. An arm full of oversteer as well into towards the sets. You can see he's really pushing there as well. He knows that it's so crucial for his race to bring that gap down under a second as well, as he hesitates as well going down in towards turn 11 and turn 12. This track punishes the merest of mistakes. You cannot afford to put one toe out of line, because that'll be a massive headache for you as well in the Grand Prix. The gap is 1 second, so he did get himself in DRS range, although Ben Joke is a bit further back as well. Power Team sets the first up of the Grand Prix. He does have Robbie Jacobs right behind him, so it is the Dutch versus the Belgian driver, the first and second place as we head down in towards turn 1. Sasha Hood did not have the DRS there, so he's going to be under major pressure for the guys behind as well, like Joke, Fireblades and Milan Langer. The championship leader has made up 2 places. Gas stayed where he started. Finn Hertz has made up 2 places as well. He made up 5 places, from P15 or 16 to P11. And he's currently just behind the Haas man there as well, who's been up 2 places himself. So decent start for those guys just behind. Let's see how many places though Finn Hertz can make, because it's very easy, very difficult to overtake around here. It is so easy to just follow each other in the DRS trade. So I think Finn Hertz might have to get his elbows out. He's probably done the first challenge in the wrong place, wrong track. So it might be a bit of a tall order there for Finn Hertz, because one, he needs to be staying traffic there as well. He needs to get overtakes left, right, centre. He needs to be a bit inventive, let's say, down the brakes in towards turn 1. He needs to do a Daniel Ricciardo type style move, going down in towards turn 1. We've seen plenty of lunges from Daniel Ricciardo, especially back in 2014 when he overtook Alonso, Hamilton as well, but they weren't late lunges. It was with Alonso, but Ricciardo went around the outside towards turn 2, which gave him his second win in Red Bull. It is lap 4 out of 35 then, and Friedrichs is up into P10 ahead of the Haasman 2. He's got himself ahead as the two Kicksabers there in the background just brawling away with each other. That's Champ and Mummy going for P12 and P13. They're going side by side in towards turn 1, but Mummy just stays in front for the time being ahead of Champ. Remember when Kicksaber as well, back in 2023 was it, when they qualified in 5th place, but immediately they dropped down because they had a problem, I think, with the anti-stall kicking in, as Joe Guardiu qualified in P5, which was an amazing result for a Kickstarter team that was struggling too. But it was ruined as well. Didn't Joe Guardiu got taken out in turn 1, or was it Valtteri Bottas? Well, I definitely know that Valtteri Bottas took out a few people in 2021 as well when he went bowling in that crucial championship fight with Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton in the Red Bull and the Mercedes as well. Hamilton literally took this race as one. Remember back in 2020 and 2021, we used to have like sponsors saying we race as one, or the phrase was we race as one, and Hamilton took it as a definition, literally definition, because he started the race alone, didn't he, in 2021. He stayed out there on the intermediate compound tyres whilst the rest boxed for the mediums or hards, and Hamilton had to do a whole lap on the inters and fall all the way back to the field because Esteban Ocon won his first race here at the Hungarian Grand Prix in the Alpine as well. What a spectacular race that was. As we see, Vedjo goes up into P3 ahead of Sasha Hood. He goes now up into P3. Vedjo has missed a few races, has the Dutchman, but he's back. And let's see then, he's coming in P3 for the time being as well. So despite missing, he's still got some pace to go with it. That's why he's the 7-time world champion after all, is Vedjo. He last appeared at the Imola Grand Prix, which was 2-3 races ago, and he finished second on that occasion as well, with a great drive. And also, Sasha Hood was on the podium too. He finished P3 at the Imola Grand Prix, giving Ferrari's first podium of the season. And his teammate Stefan got his podium, I think, back at the Monaco Grand Prix. So both Ferraris have tasted the podium so far in P3 there. Both of them, they've had collectively some decent results there, and currently they're running in P4. Stefan a bit behind in that lower end of the train. He's currently in P8, fighting with Leroy and Khatikas too, so he is detached down there. Finn Hurst though, in 5 laps, getting 6 places. It looks impressive, but now he's caught up to the faster guys. I wonder how much of a struggle it'll be for him to try and overtake as well. Like I said, you need to try and find a way down towards turn 1. Do a lunge, do a dive bomb, but make sure it is clean and clinical. That's why I always love to see people dive up towards turn 1, because you can do it, but at the same time, do you have the bravery, the confidence in your car and yourself to stop it before hitting anybody in towards turn 1, because we see plenty of dive bombs gone wrong here in towards turn 1 as well. I think Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton became a cropper down in 2015 when those guys made contact. Look at this, 3 abreast there as the Red Bull out of shape as well. As we head down towards turn 2, Mummy Nick defending from the Haas there. He just stays ahead for the time being, ahead of the Haas 2. They're detached, they're way further down, and the train ahead of him have gone as well. So it's down to Palasim, it is down to Robbie Jacobs, and Fireblaze 2 in P6. If he just had a great start, I'm not quite sure what he was doing. Was it being a bit too cautious in the first opening laps of the Grand Prix? Did he have a problem? Or was the cars just all around? Because we really need to go back and watch what happened on the first lap of the Grand Prix, because it seems like Fireblaze just did not get a good start. I didn't see him bogged down. I just saw him and Robbie Jacobs swap places, and all of a sudden Fireblaze kept losing more and more places too. So I think he just might have lost a bit of confidence too, for good measure, but we'll find out what happened to him as well. Round of the final corner, it is lap 7 out of 35. The power seems still leads this Grand Prix with Robbie Jacobs right behind us. The gap is 0.6 of a second, so Robbie Jacobs is keeping the Red Bull driver on his toes, not letting him out of sight as well. He's just following in that DRS there, in the dirty air, but at the same time now, being very smart in this Grand Prix, not challenging Power C, because those two, they know they have the gap over the rest of the field. So there's no point scrapping away. There's no point slowing each other down. In the background, is that Milan fancying a move there, or is it Khatikas? It's Khatikas side by side with the Ferrari, and he gets ahead. The McLaren driver is ahead, and he puts himself up into P8 there. So great lunge there, as Stefan has lost 2 places, as Finn Hurst has moved himself up into P9 as well. So I'm not quite sure what happened to Stefan, but I'm still trying to watch the first lap of the Grand Prix to see what happened to Fireblaze too, because it could have been a double Alpine podium for the time being. But look at Palasim, he's pulled 9 tenths again ahead of Robbie Jacobs. So can he try and break away? from the DRS train and be under threat by nobody in the Grand Prix and try and control his race, because his pace has been superb and phenomenal so far in this race. But there's still a long way to go. We know that this track can cause safety cars, and when safety car comes out, it either makes somebody's race or completely destroys and breaks people's race. There is two hard runners, which I forgot to mention, Leroy and Hatikas as well. They're keeping up with the DRS trade, so it's going well for them so far. Just go for that long stint of the hardcore power tyres before they converge over to the mediums as well. But I'm still intrigued to see if this is a one-stop or two-stop. Surely it's a borderline two-stop strategy with the amount of laps around this track, and also the tyre wear being so high as well. Managing tyres could be a problem for these drivers as well. Who has got the best tyre management? Who is able to keep it nice and smooth around here as well? Sometimes when people get to the limit of their tyres, when their peak performance starts to go, they start to drop performance as well, because they're unable to keep it pointed in the right direction. There's oversteer, understeer, the tyres are just overheating like mad as well. It's just so hard to regulate and maintain. As Power Seam in front of us, the gap is 1.3 seconds as well, so he's pulled a big gap. Well, it is a big gap because you're out of the DRS range there between himself and Power Seam as well. So the gap is 1.4 seconds there, and he can pull away now freely. Can Power Seam drops Robbie out his DRS, and that shows you as well, despite him under massive pressure behind, he still has some good pace, just relentless pace as well. Pure pace to try and break away from the DRS train from the guys behind as well. So Robbie is left alone in P2. Will he have to think about focusing behind? Will they joke and the rest of them catch up, because now he is in no man's land in P2? So he hopes that he don't get caught up with the rest of the guys behind as well. As we see then, the McLaren driver Milan is right behind the Ferrari. It's just a move from the championship leader. He's a bit too far back on this occasion, but behind us, Fireblaze is dropping like a stone. Look at that. He's way far behind, and Leroy is up into P6. So Fireblaze is having a few race setup issues as well. He has been dropped from this train, and Leroy is up into P6. Bear in mind though, the hardcore power tyres are attached to that car, so I expect him to be quicker at this stage in comparison to everybody else as well. So you might see him surge up the field there on the hardcore power tyres. But when are these guys on the medium power tyres thinking about a pit stop as well? When is the best time to pit, and what tyre is it? Is it medium, hard, medium? Is it a one-stop strategy? Can people do a one-stop strategy without having to do a second stop? I know in the last game it was definitely a one-stop strategy because I learned my lesson. Somebody in the background went off the track there. Was that Hatikas? Did he ride over the curb? I'm not quite sure. But if he did, that's going to be costly, because that's going to be awarded added to his name, and he's got Finn Hertz right behind him too. I bet Power Seam is so glad that Finn Hertz disqualified himself, because it looks like it's a bit of a challenge there for Finn to make his way through the field. With the pace he has, it's mighty and probably better than the guys around him. But at the same time, though, you know the difficulty of this track is just so difficult to overtake as well. That's why qualifying is very crucial for your race, to try and set up and lay the foundations down for your Grand Prix and have a good race, or be stuck in traffic as well. But behind us, Fireblaze once again under pressure from the McLaren driver of Hatikas. Here comes the McLaren driver. He pulls out, but he does not go for the move just yet then. So he waits for possibly another lap or an opportunity. You can see he has a better exit as well alongside the RP driver as we head down towards turn 2. Side by side, can he get all the way around the outside in towards turn 2? He should have a better grip on those hardcore power tyres, and they think they bang wheels just a bit there. But Hatikas is up into P7, and Fireblaze literally has no response whatsoever. He's dropping down like a stone. Those tyres are not holding up well against him as well. Just can't seem to have any pace. He goes out wide. The balance of the car is just not there for him. It's not working whatsoever there for Fireblaze. He continues to struggle then. As we see, somebody has a spin in the background. Is that the Saber of Champ? It is the Saber of Champ. You can see there's a bit of debris on the tyres too, as he gets rid of that and went for a lot of a spin in towards 4 and 5, where I think Joe Guan Yu spun, didn't he, back in 2024, avoiding Sergio Perez. Look at the gap though that Power Seam has built up. The gap is 2.6 seconds. So blistering pace there from Power Seam, and he's showing us some mighty good pace as well, trying to go for his first win of the season. Finn Hertz gets himself up into P8 ahead of Fireblaze. Fireblaze with no DRS, finds Stefan at the back of him. Oh, remember what happened between the Ferrari boys as well. Fireblaze goes defensive, making Stefan go the long way round, but could we see a little switcheroo? The under and over type move as well, as the DRS enabled again for the Ferrari driver. Has massive wheel spin at the exit of turn 1. Surely at the stage of the Grand Prix, these tyres must be going off as well. The peak performance have definitely gone. It's just a matter of time when these guys decide to go for the pit stop as well. Which one of these guys will cause the train reaction to go on the hardcore power tyres? I think they might be stretched it to a one-stop strategy, because surely by now, maybe early in the Grand Prix, they would have pitted to try and do the undercut and possibly do that two-stop strategy. But it's going to be very intriguing. We know the tyre temp skyrockets as well. The abrasive is very rough. The tyres as well. The track is so abrasive, and that's why the tyres overheat so much, slide around, especially in the dirty air of the car behind too. So that's why tyre management is such a major thing. If you can manage your tyres and have controlled pace, then you're in for a good race. But if you're a driver who can't save tyres and you can't regulate the tyres sliding around, etc., you're in for a difficult race. It's just so difficult to keep those tyres under the optimum window, because it's very easy to just overheat, especially when you're constantly sliding around. Maybe it's a setup thing, a driver issue thing. As Stefan, can he overtake him? But Sasha Hood, his teammate, might make a move going down towards Tier 1, but not for the time being. However, Stefan does get past the Alpine driver, but the Alpine might fancy a little bit of an under and over type move. He gets a better exit, but Stefan surely has the DRS. Fireblade makes contact, more contact there as well. These two having no love lost. There's a bit of history between the Ferrari and the Alpine boys as well. Stefan and Fireblaze clearly showing their feelings from one of each other, and their feelings as well are not mutual. Bit of tense there between those two, no blood loss, and of course Stefan now can pull away from Fireblaze and think about setting his sights on Vint Geerts though, up into P8 behind Gattekas and Leroy. Now I'm expecting those two on the hardcore power tyres at this stage. Surely they have the tyre grip and a little bit better, but you can see Leroy just runs a bit out wide there, so may have picked himself up a track limit 1 in there, so you've got to be very careful as well, because you only get 2 chances, and the third one is a penalty, just like that. Thank you, champ, for the impeccable time in there, my friend, for demonstrating and illustrating a penalty can be awarded to you at any given moment in this Grand Prix. Unforgiving, this track, really unforgiving. I do like the circuit though, but it has its ups and downs. Every single circuit has its ups and downs. Well, Monaco has a down of itself, but it's just that the problem is overtaking is just so difficult. With the heat being so extreme, etc., the cars being so hot, and the aero not working as well, especially in the high-speed corners. That's why it's just so difficult. You lose power on the straights as well with the engine overheating, and hence why we see some people ducking and diving on the stream as well. It's one of those tracks where you've got to be nice and gentle and smooth every single lap as well. So it definitely tells me that this is a one-stop strategy, otherwise the guys around him would have pitted too. But Robbie Jacobs gets a 3-second tyre penalty, and that could be detrimental. And Fireblaze has lost it, I think. Yes, he has. Fireblaze has lost it at the exit of turn 3, and his race has gone from bad to worse there for the RP driver. Just didn't have the pace, did he? And unfortunately just couldn't keep the car stable and in control. So this opens up more doors for the guys behind as well in P3 behind. They know that Robbie Jacobs has a 3-second penalty. He's really good, he's really quick, but at the same time, it's just the inconsistency that Robbie Jacobs may lack as well. The pace is there, but you need everything as a driver to be at the top tier, at the A game as well. Penalties like these have huge consequences, as he's the first one to dive in the pit lane to get rid of his medium compound tyres then. What a shame for Robbie Jacobs, because he's one of those drivers that picks up penalties as well in racing. But now he's pitted. Is this going to be a set of the hard compound tyres? We shall see in a few moments time as he trundles down the pit lane, as Sasha Hood gets right behind Vedjoke. So Vedjoke has got a massive train of cars right behind him too. Oh, there's a crash there in the background. That's Leroy. Leroy has lost the car at the exit of turn 1, lost traction and simply hit the wall and lost his end plate too. What a shame for Leroy too. I was surprised that these guys are not attacking the medium runners. The medium runners are doing a superb job managing their track position, managing their tyres, and keeping the other guys at bay too for good measure. Maybe Gattekas could be helping his teammate of Milan Langer and keeping the guys behind as well for good measure. It's a shame about Leroy. The man picked up a podium in the Austrian Grand Prix on his first visit here in JSR as well. He is a super quick driver, but like other drivers as well in this league, they have their flaws, they have their issues, they have their mistakes. And that's a big mistake for Leroy now, because it's dropped him well out of the equation for any sort of podium/win. Plus, he's on the hardcore powered tyres, so it's a bit too early to pick for him anyway. and he's got a broken wing, so his race there has completely been wrecked. As Power Team is in the pit lane, not risking any chances, he wants to get on a bonus set of medium compound on the hard compound tyres. Does the Dutchman there to try and prevent the undercut from happening. So both McLarens have stayed out. Milan Langer takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Hatzikast for P1 and P2. So it's the McLaren 1-2 again, but in different circumstances because Hatzikast is on better tyres in comparison towards Milan Langer, who has a massive slide at the exit of Tier 1 there. The tyres are given the ghost and Hatzikast can sense an opportunity to overtake, but he's not going to do it down towards Tier 2. You can really see Milan now starting to suffer. Has he stayed out there one lap too late and therefore blowing it as well, because the longer it's like this, the better chance the guys behind will do the undercut on him, and Milan Langer will fall backwards in the train. And when you fall backwards in the DRS train, it is just so difficult to catch back up. So I think that one lap has cost him dearly as well. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but in the moment, you make your own decisions, of course, with the information you have around you, the confidence as well, and the track data given towards you. But Milan Langer here, unfortunately, not reading those sensors, and this may have cost him this one lap extra, as he may fall down in towards P8, I dare say, or just before P8. We know Hatzikast is going to stay out there for like a few laps extra because he's on the hard compound tyre, so it will be a bit too early to pit for Hatzikast, and I don't think two-stop is advisable. But Milan Langer is staying out there once again. So what's he going to plan? Is he trying to do a massive offset towards the end of the Grand Prix? His tyres are screaming. Absolutely screaming. The gap's going down lap by lap. Robbie Jacobs is up into P3, so he did undercut Power Team. That explains the power of the undercut around here as well at the Hungarian Grand Prix, because he had a 2.6 second gap with the Power Team, but it's been brought down, and Milan has been overtaken by his teammates Hatzikast. Hatzikast takes the lead of the Grand Prix. He's on the hard compound tyres, of course, so he's going much longer in comparison to everybody else, whilst Milan, not quite sure what the strategy is. It's a very strange strategy indeed for Milan, and it could have massive consequences for the championship too. Is he trying to get a puncher? 16 laps on the medium compound tyres is a long way to go on these mediums. The gap's going down as well, tumbling down at a rate of knots as well between Robbie Jacobs and Milan Langer. So this is a very bizarre strategy, I dare say, from Milan. We're almost halfway in towards this Grand Prix. Is he banking on a safety car to happen? I'm not quite sure. It's a big scrap there going on between Venjo, Sasha Hood and Finn Geerts as well for P5, P6 and P7. Mighty qualifier pace there for Finn Geerts, but ever since that qualifying ban or disqualification he implemented on himself, he's not been able to make his way up the field. But Milan finally pits then, and yeah, I don't think this is the right strategy call, unless there's a massive pace difference towards the second part of the race. Into the pit lane comes Milan, and a change of tyres there for him on the hard compound tyres. McLaren crew is first because they finished first in the championship in 2024, and he gets first service immediately as he enters the pit lane. Where will he rejoin? That's the key question. Is it ahead of the Haas? The Haas is making his way down the straight. He could get undercutted by the Haas man and Stefan. Here comes Stefan as he overtakes the Haas. He pulls himself up into P7. So Milan has dropped so far back, but with that tyre advantage towards the end, is that going to pay him any dividends, or any dividends at all? Or has it just cost him the race entirely, in my opinion? Let's see then. He's got something up his sleeve we don't know. So it is Hatzikast is the only driver in this race not to pit as well, because he is on the hard compound tyre, so just go for that long stint. He doesn't want to pit now because the tyres just possibly be dead towards the end of the Grand Prix, although we see Milan taking 16 laps. But Hatzikast wants the best possible tyre life towards the end as well, trying to minimise the distance on the medium compound tyres. And let's see what he could do for first place. But everybody is getting on at a rate of knots as well, for good measure. And look at that. The Haasman just moves out the way. Milan goes through, up into P8 there, so no defence there. Milan got through straight away, and he'll be a very happy man indeed that the Haas moves away. He can focus on getting Stefan. So Fireblaze did pit, but unfortunately he's all the way down to P14. It's just gone from bad to worse. As Power Steve overtakes Robbie Jacobs for the net lead of the Grand Prix. Look at the gap from P3 to P4. It is huge. 9 seconds as well between P3 and P4. Big gap as well. So these two have controlled the race beautifully, but maybe Robbie Jacobs could, in the end, could get a podium. It could well and truly be on for a podium, but the only thing that could ruin that, fingers crossed it doesn't happen, is a safety car. That's the last thing he needs, because that gap will be wiped down under 3 seconds. Look at that, Parasim right behind Khatikas, an obstacle, a roadblock in the way, and he wants to get past him quickly as he can, but he's got to make sure that he doesn't trip over him. Sometimes when drivers on new tyres meet old tyres, they become a bit of an obstacle in the way, and the drivers behind are desperate to get past. You just need to be focused here. You need to keep it nice and control and make sure you don't do anything silly at all in the Grand Prix. Drivers are wanted first place, they want to track position. He goes around the outside in the final corner. Not all wise thing to do, but he has the grip around the outside in the final corner. Can he make a stick? He can. Don't really see moves being made there, but here comes Robbie Jacob behind the McLaren as he pulls out to the right side as he takes away second place. But what was that there from Robbie Jacobs? Just gave Khatikas a bit of a tap there. I'm not quite sure why. Just a reminder as well to drink water, because I do tend to forget to drink water throughout the event as well. So just bear with me for a few seconds. Alright, there was 16 laps left to go in the Grand Prix, and so far your race leader is Parasim with Robbie Jacobs in P2. Robbie Jacobs though could finish on the podium. The gap's big enough between P2 and P4. We know Khatikas won't have any sort of involvement, I dare say, for the lead of the Grand Prix. They're just a pit stop ahead, way pit stop ahead of Khatikas there. Khatikas, the strategy hasn't worked for him. The hard to medium strategy hasn't really paid dividends at all, I've seen in this game. It's usually mediums to hards or two stop, but so far it looks like a one stop is the way to go. Just treat your tyres very nicely in the first stint, and Khatikas is in the pit lane to put on a set of the medium powered tyres. I'll tell you what though, the battle for P3 looks very interesting between three drivers as Fire Blaze gets a penalty there, but it's a battle between Venjoke, Sasha Hood and Finn Geerts as well. Geerts, Hood and Venjoke, so that could be very spicy as Stefan and Milan are fast away at the exit of turn 1. Milan has gained on Stefan by a rate of knots. He puts himself into P6. The gap between Milan and Finn is about 6 seconds. There is a 2-lap difference in tyres between those two. So could we see Milan on the scene? Could he be fighting for a podium and make it a 4-way fight for the podium? That could be very interesting, but that's a long gap to bring down as well. That's going to be a tall order for Milan Langer. Can he do it though? We've seen plenty of surprises, and his pace looks blistering so far, so he could well have a say against the guys on the podium too. So it could be a 4-way fight for the podium in the Grand Prix, but we know Parasim has had this race in his hands since qualifying when he set that mega lap time on pole, and it set the race for him. It set the script for him as well. It looks like there's no plan C for anybody to go on the soft power tyres and cause a safety car. Plan C for combat, for chaos, but nobody wants to try it. I hope they don't try it. But Khatikas is on the medium power tyres, a brand new set of them. So let's see where he'll end up towards the end of the Grand Prix. 14 laps on those mediums is doable, of course. So let's see then, does the Dutchman have the pace to claw back to the field? Leroy's behind the Red Bull driver of Tijas, so let's see if we can get past him. Here he is on the main straight with the DRS open. Leroy was also a driver who started the hard power tyres, but unfortunately, early in the Grand Prix, he spun out turn 1 and broke his wing for good measure too. But look at Milan. Absolutely flying. The gap was like 5.8, it's 4.2. Milan is on a flyer so far. The rocket ship in the McLaren, the championship leader, hunted down Finn Geerts, Sasha Hood, and Venjoke for P3. It's going to be a spicy battle for the podium. Venjoke, the 7-time champion, the current champion of JSR, versus the championship leader of Milan Langer, with Sasha Hood, podium sitter here, and also Finn Geerts, race winner here as well in JSR. It's spiced up to be an exciting end here to the Hungary ring. Look at that, Milan is taking chunks and chunks and chunks and chunks of time away from Finn Geerts, Sasha Hood and Venjoke. The benefit of the clean air is really helping him get closer towards the guys ahead of him as well. So he's really utilising that track here, that free air ahead of him to bring that gap down. But Robbie Jacobs, he should be okay to get a podium. A, he could get another penalty. B, a safety car could come out as well. So he best pray and hope that a safety car does not come out to try and interfere with his race. It'll be upsetting for Robbie Jacobs because he makes a return after a few absences away since the Imola Grand Prix. So it'll be tragic for him if a safety car was to appear in the Grand Prix and cause an end to his podium. As we see the Haas in the pit lane once again to get rid of his hardcore power tyres. So he is doing a two-stop strategy as Leroy versus Khatikas at the exterior Tier 1. Which driver had DRS? None. Neither driver had DRS, which is bizarre. But Leroy pushes Khatikas onto the grass there towards Turn 2. So the racing ball getting his elbows out. And Khatikas surely now. Oh, this could get a bit hectic going up towards Turn 4. One of you's got to back out. Neither driver's backing out as Khatikas gets shown the grass once again. Leroy maybe driving with frustration after what happened to him early in the Grand Prix, but Khatikas he needs to buy this time. There is no point doing anything silly. You know you want better tyres, so just wait. Patience has to be a driver's virtue. You've got to wait. You can't afford to just send it whenever you want. Yes, you have a major tyre difference, but at the same time, though, you can't afford to wreck your races as well. I've seen plenty of times where drivers have a huge tyre offset, but unfortunately, they lose their minds as well because they're desperate to get past. They're desperate to focus on the race ahead. They want that place immediately, but he goes through. But could this be tactical? Because Leroy now has the DRS. Surely Leroy didn't make a mistake, so he does have the DRS there on Khatikas. Now the DRS is open. I dare say Leroy might force launch with the inside. Khatikas is going defensive on the right hand side as we head down towards Turn 1. He's a bit too far back. Surely not. He is. No, he's not. He backs off. So Khatikas has been relieved. Finally been released. 1 lap too late, I dare say, but he's up into P9. Next target is the kick-salver of Mummy Nick, who's been running his own little race in P8. Robbie Jacobs! Why? There is no point. I don't understand. I know it's easy to pick up penalties at the same time, though. You don't need to. You can't afford to run these risks. You've got a 1.4 second deficit now between P2 and P3, but you've got to stop doing this as well. You know you've got a big gap. You know there's no need to push. There is, obviously, but you know what I mean. Just keep it within the white lines. Easier said than done, of course, but you just throw away a race like this for no reason. It is frustrating when you see drivers who are blistering pace just pick up penalties as well. I know it's difficult, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you've got to use your head as well. You've got to think about it. You know you've got a big gap over the guys behind. You know you don't need to run the risks of going off the track. Maybe he's struggling or losing concentration because it is a mental training race, of course, the Hungarian Grand Prix. But at the same time, though, keep the mistakes to a minimum, especially a penalty. 3-second penalty as well. Now it's 6. So he best hope that their joke behind him doesn't pick up the pace to hunt him down. He best hope the guys behind too don't pick up the pace, otherwise he's off the podium. Don't worry, I've been told this myself in the past as well, because I was one of those drivers who was quick but just inconsistent because I tried to push the bounce of the track. I wasn't really paying attention, I wasn't really hitting the braking points or carrying the speed to the corners properly as well. So as a driver, you got to make sure you focus 100% at all times as well, because you may not think it. You may think, oh, I got a penalty, it doesn't matter, but it does. It really does. It has a big impact as well. You never know when a safety car could come out. If it does or not, lucky you if it doesn't, bad luck for you if it does. And it's self-inflicted too if that safety car does come out, because he knows he's had a chance. He's got the pace for the podium, but what's he done? Just overdrove it as well. Look who's in the background. He's arrived on the scene. Milan Langer in P6. It's almost... Robbie Jacobs has pitted. We're very bizarre. Let's see, is this the heart again, or is it really compound tyres? If he's cost himself a podium in the Grand Prix, then I dare say it's one of the biggest L's I've seen so far. Robbie Jacobs has pitted there on a brand new set of hard compound tyres. He best hope that he has blistering pace on those hard compound tyres. There is 10 laps left to go in the Grand Prix, so he felt like those hards couldn't go towards the end. Look at the traffic as well. Look how much time he's got to make up. Plus, with a 6-second penalty, he's given up the podium. He's given up the track position to the rest of the field. Was that a necessary pit stop there for Robbie Jacobs? Has he completely destroyed his own race? Nobody else but him, if he doesn't get the result he needs and wants as well and deserves, because he is the one that's completely blown. This is qualifying for Robbie Jacobs. 10 laps of pure qualifying. What's happened there then? Side by side in towards the chicane, and Sasha Hood. And look at that, here comes Milan, here comes Finn, but Sasha Hood, he cuts him off. He cuts Milan's front wing off almost there as well as he closed the door. That was super close indeed. What on earth happened there to cause that chain reaction in towards the chicane? We were talking about Robbie Jacobs down in P9, but there was a big battle going for the podium as well. Sasha Hood lost third place. He must made a mistake out of there as well. So first drive dispatched. Mummy Nick is up into P8, but once again goes off the track as well. Not sure if he's driving for fun. He's probably taking this for fun, not too seriously. And if that's the case, fair enough. But don't be complaining when he lost the podium. Milan down the inside in towards turn 1. Bert wasn't close enough there. But can he get a better exit, better traction? No, he can't, as he stays behind for the time being. Milan has got 9 laps to plan this as well. There is 3 drivers in front of him. The championship leader wants to extend his championship gap over Kevin Zumberg and Eric. Robbie Jacobs goes up into P7 ahead of Khatikas. Next target is Stefan. I don't know about this strategy. It's a questionable strategy from Robbie Jacobs, and if he does lose a podium, then I dare say it's totally self-inflicted. Unless, of course, he was blatantly close to a puncher, then fair enough. If he had to pit, he had to pit. There is out of his control. Maybe his tyre wear is much higher than everybody else. Maybe he's been pushing so hard that his tyre wear is just so high. But hopefully we get the questions as well after Grand Prix. Have all the answers to see what Robbie Jacobs decided to do and why he decided to do those decisions as well. Thing goes a bit wide. There's the Ferrari. There's the McLaren creeping up behind. This is going to be an interesting scrap for the battle for the podium. Milan Langer, P5 on fresher tyres, is hunting down these guys as the Ferrari, the Aston Martin and the McLaren all have DRS on the back of Finn Hertz as we head down in towards turn 1. In the background, here he is on the inside. Bird, Sasha Hood tries to go around the outside towards turn 1. Bit of contact, they have massive wheel spin, fighting for traction at the exit of turn 1. As we go down towards 2, he goes around the outside in towards turn 2. Does he have the grip on the outside? He does not, as he stays in P4. For the time being then, this is getting spicy, and hopefully this continues all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. At this point, if these guys fight so much as well, that brings Robbie Jacobs into play once again. How quickly can he get through these guys? If he catches up and if he overtakes them, can he build that 6-second gap? Robbie Jacobs has got his work cut out. He's had to put a lot of work. He's had to work harder than normal before as well by forcing him into a different strategy. So Robbie Jacobs has really forced himself into a lot of work and pressure in this Grand Prix, and so far he's right behind him almost. The gap is 2.6 seconds there between those two. I like his creativity, I like his different approach and strategy, and still could get P2. But it all depends though what this race is like. Milan Langer is right at the back of the Ferrari, and Sasha Hood, whom we know he does not back down from any fight at all. He's a very aggressive driver. Is the Ferrari of Sasha Hood as we exit the final corner once again. DRS enabled for these guys. As you can see, the McLaren and Ferrari are derating as we head down towards turn 1. Finn Hertz has a little bit of a peek there to spook Ben Joke in towards turn 1, but the old goat will not be spooked as he stays in P2 for the time being, as Milan Langer trying to look for an overtake against the Ferrari, but cars seem to find a way past. That's the difficulty in the DRS train. You may have blistering pace, but at the same time now, oh, what's going on there? Somebody has spun the final corner. That is Champ, and luckily he's in the pit lane then. And look who's on the scene. It is Robbie Jacobs though. This could get very interesting because Robbie Jacobs knows time is limited. Time is running out. If he wants a podium, he can't afford to be hanging around in this gaggle of cars. He has to get through immediately, not waste any single time behind these guys. And once he does overtake them, pull away by over 6 seconds then. So here comes the big targets in front of us. Robbie Jacobs there in P6 with a lot of work to do if he still wants to finish in P2 with an aggressive strategy to stop towards the end of the Grand Prix, which is really throwing the cats amongst the pigeons in this race, throwing a twister as well. The battle for P2 is getting more and more intense than ever. P2 down to P6, all very quick drivers. Power Seam is out there in first place with no trouble. Here comes Robbie Jacobs side by side with Milan as well. That's the easy overtake. He puts himself up into P6, and here comes Finn on the back of the Williams as we head down in towards turn 1. He's forced to go on the outside, but the Williams cuts him off there as we exit turn 1. Should Finn get a better exit? Massive wheel spin for the Aston Martin driver as we head down in towards turn 2. The red joke cuts him off completely like Fernando Alonso did against Lewis Hamilton. He blocked past him, which means you place your car in the middle of the road in the braking zone. And here comes Robbie Jacobs side by side with the Ferrari. Is this going to be a clean overtake? It might be. He goes off the track. They both do there, side by side, in towards turn 4. Now turn 5, barely this space given between those two. But Robbie Jacobs goes up into P4 and he sneaks through as Hattekas gets a 3-second time penalty there. That was a very risky move, very optimistic move from Robbie Jacobs, but somehow the RP driver, he made it stick. He forced the lunge there and he got himself up into P4. Next target is Finn Hertz and also Venjo for P2. Goes off the track again. How many penalties is this man wanted to get as we head down in towards turn 12 we go? Time is running out, fuel is running low, tensions are running high in the Grand Prix. Look at that, you can clearly see the difference in tyre grip. Robbie Jacobs able to go alongside as we head down in towards the final corner, as now they go side by side out of the final corner, head up to lap 30 out of 35. DRS enabled, they both go wheel to wheel on towards the straight there. Robbie Jacobs there trying to overtake Finn Hertz. They bang and bump wheels as we head down in towards turn 1. Down the inside goes Milan on the Ferrari. It's a late braking move. The 2x2 out of turn 1, two groups going side by side. Can Milan get ahead? Yes, he can. Robbie Jacobs is up into P3 ahead of Finn Hertz as well. So two moves there from Robbie Jacobs and Milan, P3 and P5. Next target is Venjo, and surely this is an easy move because Venjo is vulnerable with no DRS. Once he gets past him, he has, oh come on Robbie Jacobs man, goes off the track once again. So maybe one more infringement could be a 3-second time penalty, which means 9 seconds. Robbie Jacobs is literally making it harder and harder for himself. Actually hard work in this Grand Prix, Robbie Jacobs as well. It's not been an easy ride for him. He's making this harder for himself actually, after getting those penalties as well, making a 2-shot stretch when he didn't have to, but it's all fun and games really. Something creative, something new as well. He has the pace to back it up against the rest of the guys as well. Blistering pace, but a bit inconsistent, but still showing some mighty pace. And here he is. He has to overtake him. He can't afford to get stuck behind him. So now is the chance to overtake him, going down in towards turn 1. And once he does that, pull away from the rest of the field by 6 seconds in 5 laps. I believe he can do it. The tyre difference is big and significant around here too. He has a massive offset in comparison to the guys behind. So he should be able to break out of the DRS rage and pull away. Can Robbie Jacobs, despite everything in this Grand Prix, still finish in P2? And if he does, what a mighty drive. An absolute mighty drive. As Fireblades has retired in the pit lane, Robbie Jacobs' heart would have been sinking, but he knows that his teammates retired in the pit lane, so there's no chance of a safety car or virtual. Shame for Fireblades, we call him Mr. Consistent, Mr. Top 5, but here in Hungary, it has broken away his streak, unfortunately. So a dismal, difficult race there for Fireblades. Had no race pace whatsoever. The car was just all over the place, no balance in the Alpine, but his teammate is absolutely flying in the other Alpine. He can find a grip in the car, where his teammate can't benefit from that, unfortunately for him. 1.7 now, but this is the battle for P3 between these guys, so there's one more spot left on the podium, potentially, but it could be 2 more spots left, depending if Robbie Jacobs can't break out 6 seconds. And also, if these guys continue to scrap, that could help Robbie Jacobs pull away and build that 6-second gap. So he best hope that the guys behind scrap away like mad dogs as we head down towards turn 1. Venjo good offensive. Here comes Finn around the outside, but can't make a stick. Is it under and over? Is it in towards turn 2? But can't quite seem to get alongside him as we head down in towards turn 2 we go. Still behind him. Milan Langer is still behind too, just waiting to pounce on any given opportunity. This is going down to the wire between these guys for the fight for the podium. Have been glued together ever since that second stint. Is that Sasha Hood down here? So yes, it is. He forces Milan off the road, and Milan gets a 3-second penalty. Wow, what a dive bomb that was. And now the elbows are getting out as well. The patience has been lost. The hot heads are kicking in. And yes, you can definitely tell there that Milan is so frustrated. I dare say reports coming up because Sasha Hood, for some reason, dived down the inside. That move was never on, as he was bound to go off the track, or both of them did go off the track there. Milan Langer will not get a podium in the Grand Prix, so it's down to Venjo and Finn Hertz and Sasha Hood as well. Sasha Hood dived to the inside towards turn 6, not a place for an overtake, or can overtake, and it's cost him dearly as well. Milan Langer is so frustrated. They barged and bumped wheels there as well. As here comes Milan once again, banging wheels there. As he does the switchback as well, nice under and over for Sasha Hood. Gets back up into P5 ahead of Milan. But you can definitely tell now that these guys have cost themselves. That scrap in towards 6-7, that overtake has cost Sasha Hood a chance for podium because the two ahead of him have pulled away and broken the DRS. So it's actually bad luck there for Sasha Hood. That dive bomb move has cost him dearly there as well. So you could say karma in other ways for him. I'm not quite sure though why, because he was just so far back. There was no way he goes off the track again in the same place as he did before. I think he was losing his patience for Sasha Hood, but that's what happens. Sometimes that's what happens in the Grand Prix. Get stuck in a DRS train, you just can't seem to go anywhere. Yes, it's nice. It's nice to see moves being made, but sometimes you gotta be smart about it. You gotta think clearly as well with your head, methodically and strategically. We'd love to see dive bombs, etc. But who's that going slowly there? Is that Mercedes? I'm quite sure it is. Yes, it is. Is Mercedes going slowly? We haven't really talked much about the Red Bull driver in first place, but this man has done a superb job as we watch these two then battle out again for third place. The two in the background going side by side. They touch once again, going down in towards turn one. Venjo just defends, but in the background, it is getting ever so heated there, and a crash is imminent anytime soon because look at that. These guys now have completely lost their heads. The race for attrition for these two as well. Now the driver backing down. Milan Langer is going to be so frustrated. I can't imagine the words coming out of his mouth right now. Milan Langer, who gets very angry when it comes to situations like these. We've seen his TikToks. They're very funny. At the same time for him, a chance for podium should have been on there for Milan Langer, but I think that Sasha Hood lost his patience and tried something, but it didn't work. A bit of a silly move in my opinion there, if I'm going to be brutally honest about it. I don't think that Sasha is going to be happy with me to say that, but sometimes being brutally honest is the best way to go. Power Seam, though, however, in first place, hasn't picked up a podium just yet in this season, and he's on his way for his first podium / first win. His best result came at, I think it was, where was it? The Australian Grand Prix when he finished in P4. Him and Misha, P4, P5. But Power Seam has done such a superb job around here. It is the last lap of the Grand Prix, so watch out for Finn Hurst versus Venjo. As we head down towards turn one, Finn Hurst is too far back to make a move. Somebody's made contact towards turn 12, a Red Bull and RB. Leroy as well, as we see these two once again go side by side, tagging wheels there. As well as we head down in towards turn 2, not what you want to see whatsoever in the Grand Prix now. Yep, it's just frustration, anger. Just see steam coming out of the ears of both drivers. It shouldn't have ended like this, but the script has completely been written in a different way for these guys. But back on board then with the Red Bull driver Power Seam. Here he is. He has done a mighty job. He has absolutely dominated this race. He hasn't picked up a podium just yet this season. He finished P10. He DNF back at the Monaco Grand Prix. And he's bounced back to try and claim victory here in Hungary. He took pole, and ever since then, he's never ever looked back since then. He's done a mega job so far. It's going to be his first podium / win as well. Here he is towards the final corner. Power Seam wins the Hungarian Grand Prix after a dominant display of driving as well. Great pace, broken the DRS from Robert Jacobs in the first part of the race. And ever since then, he has never looked back and controlled this race as well. Superb job for Power Seam. Well calculated, well measured, and flawless pace from the Red Bull driver. He can be proud of himself for that one, and he takes the points home as well. Behind him was chaos and disaster, but overall it was a good race with a few iffy moments, I dare say, which should have happened, but that's racing sometimes, and some drivers do lose their heads, some drivers get desperate, and I can imagine what the group chat will be like towards the Grand Prix too. But it's a win, and Power Seam can be very happy about. And Robert Jacobs in P2, despite the two-stop strategy. Look at that, the gap was 4/10. Just as well. I forgot about Robert Jacobs' penalty. He just beat Venjo and Finn Hurst. So well done to Robert Jacobs for a podium, well deserved. I dare say he was overdriving just a bit, got himself those unnecessary penalties. Cleanest driver, power team, I dare say yes. I didn't see him put him a foot wrong in this Grand Prix. So I can definitely agree on that one for sure. And there are your classifications to round off the Hungarian Grand Prix here in Budapest. And a fantastic race as well. Glorious place, glorious city, and a great racetrack for racing action as well. Can be boring sometimes, but sometimes it's one of those tracks that absolutely delivers, or it's just plain boring. It depends what the weather conditions are like mostly as well, and what the situation is like. Because sometimes we can have one of the best races ever in Hungary, then all of a sudden it just is so boring, nothing happens. So it's a 50-50 track in my opinion. Monaco without the walls, and you could definitely overtake around here too. But that rounds off here the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I hope you all enjoyed that one, and I know a few other people will be hot under the colour as well. Join us back for the Belgian Grand Prix next week in Spa. It's going to be the longest track on the calendar, 7 kilometres, so join us back for round number 7 of the event. We're coming near towards the end. We're past the halfway point of the season, and we're headed towards the second half of the season at the Hungarian Grand Prix. We'll see you all later. Goodbye for now. Have a good night, and enjoy the Belgian Grand Prix this weekend.